praise.
Wow. Dude, what about the flash? Did I not give you this whole explanation?
I will put it on the last one. Okay, here we go. This one's here. One more. This is with the flash. Requested. There we go. And another. Oh, you meant the flash.
Sorry.
All right.
Okay, we'll take questions.
Yes.
All right, I'll just get things.
Once they have that
Well, I think this one you can kind of route it, and then they're going to ask questions.
Someone
Introduce you guys with this one over here. I think we're good.
2:35.
Everybody else had these off.
2:35, it's on.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome everybody to the first Fresh Kills Con Part 1 Q&A with the cast of Return of the Living Dead. Let me introduce in order. Chuck, John Philbin, and we got Casey, Jewel, Shepard, and of course Freddie, Thom Matthews, and we got Bert and Clu Gulager, and Tarman himself, Allan Trautman. So, yeah, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. If anybody's got a question right off the gate, I like to leave it to anybody out here. If whoever wants to take the first question. I've got questions, but I'd rather somebody out here ask a question. Just walk up to the mic, ask it to the fine folks up here, and they'll answer it accordingly. Anybody want to go first?
Sure.
All right, step up and yeah, go right ahead.
First of all, thank each and every one of you for being here today. This is such a kick for me. I guess the question for the group, if you want to take turns, was there ever a role that you turned down that you regretted?
There was one role that I didn't know I was being offered in a student film called Greasy Lake or whatever by Damien. This director in Hollywood gave me a script, but he wasn't professional yet. It was just Damien Harrison, and he said, read this script. I read it, I said, yeah, that's awesome. I just wish there was something in it for me. And he took that as me turning it down, but I didn't know it was an offer. So if someone gives you a script and asks you to read it, that's an offer. And how you respond, you know, can determine whether you get to be in the movie or not. But never in a professional sense. But I regretted that the rest of my life.
Well, I regretted. I did turn down the role of, I guess you guys all know as Trash.
You did.
I did too, dude. Dan O'Bannon was looking for this character who would fulfill the role of Trash, which involved nudity. And he found me, yes. He found me in one of those type of establishments, and you know, for obvious reasons, he offered me that, but because I had been so well displayed. See, I'm trying, Tom. I'm really trying. To use nice words. Thank you. And so, you know, he's there looking at me in all my glory. And he then actually says, I'm doing this movie, and everybody in Hollywood is doing a movie, and especially if you're having to be there displaying it all. They're all doing a freaking movie. And so I actually said, no, I don't want to do this. There's another party. He goes, well, there's a good girl and there's a party girl. I was like, I like to party. We could go party. And Dan and I did go party, and that was, it was wonderful because he named the character after my nickname, my childhood nickname, which was Casey, and we partied. And so I regret, because obviously Linnea, who was absolutely fantastic in this part, went on to do so many more things, and you know, but I don't think we would have gotten our rating if I did it. Okay, there you go. That was my big thing.
I never knew that.
Yeah, okay.
No. Good answer.
Stop that. I was new in New York City,
before I start, if you indulge me just for a minute, the three probably most important individuals involved with this project are no longer with us. Dan O'Bannon, the writer and director. James Karen, probably the man who wiped all of us off the screen. And the guy who played the mortician is
Don Calfa.
Don Calfa. Probably the most important individuals involved in this project. They're all gone. And I think that we all regret they're not here with us in the premiere of this great beginning of the festival that the two young men, enterprising entrepreneurs, have put together. They've done so well with it. I just wanted to thank these three men who are not with us. I know all of us think about them from time to time. They cast us. I don't know if they wanted all of us, but they cast us. And I appreciate being with all of these great artists who were perfectly cast, of course. I was in New York City, and I went to, I saw in the paper auditions, so I went to this place on 42nd Street in New York City. This was many decades ago, you know. And so in the 50s, kind of middle 50s, and I went in there and I went into the director, I thought, and he said, how big is your sexual organ? Okay, your turn.
Fortune?
No, I don't recall ever turning down something I later regretted. I remember accepting a few things I regretted, but never turning down anything I've regretted afterwards.
See, I don't get the chugga chugga shit. I don't get anything sexual.
Any other questions?
That's great. Next.
Anybody else got a question?
I got another one.
Go ahead.
You got another one? Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just wanted him, because he did the joke here. And
We all got it. Except you.
Yes. And that is my point, is that I didn't get the choga chicken line because I don't get the sexual organ thing. Not about singing that one.
But you have no problem making jokes about your own sexual organ in your response to the question.
Oh, God,
You know, like getting past this thing. So easy.
Got another question?
So easy.
Clu, I read in your biography that you directed a short film in the late 60s that was received really, really well. Did you ever contemplate directing again?
I always wanted to be a filmmaker, and I had great passion for acting, which it came upon me while I was in the Marine Corps, and I studied it a lot all over the world, and I learned to rehearse. So when I got to Hollywood, finally, I realized that I was in a profession that I couldn't quite understand. We acted in front of a lens, in front of a camera, without rehearsing. I had always memorized my part in rehearsals. I'm really dumb with lines. I have to, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't, I'm just an old fart, you know. So what happened is that gradually my passion for acting ebbed away, and directing film became my primary interest, and I never became a filmmaker, so I missed the boat. But I did get to act quite a bit, and was very thankful for that, of course.
Anybody else got a question? Yeah, come on up.
Hey, sorry, I'm a little nervous.
All right.
We are
too.
First of all, thanks for making one of my best teenage memories, renting Return to the Left. It was just like Friday, Saturday nights was a great night. Music, the fun of it, horror, it was all great. There's not one part of the movie I dislike. But is there any part of the movie you guys wish did not stay in? And what is your favorite part of the movie?
We have never been asked that before.
I can't think of a scene that I personally don't like in the movie. My favorite part in the movie is the half corpse on the gurney that they chop in half and the spine's going back and forth. And it has a conversation with us about, you know, why she wants brains, stop the pain of dying. So that was a revelation for me. And the scene was just so beautifully shot, I thought.
I didn't see anything in the movie I didn't want to see in the movie. I liked all of it. I'd have to watch. I mean, no. But my favorite scene in the movie was in the graveyard scene because I got to be in that scene. And Linnea took all her clothes off.
Yeah, my scene wasn't, I didn't like that scene. She got to take all her clothes off. And I have to say that I really liked the scene with you and Jimmy. You, not you.
In the office?
Yes, in the office. God, I just said that just like I did in the movie. Okay, back to you. I just love that whole way it was cutting back and you know, do you want to see him? I mean, it was so great.
The corpses.
In the basement.
Tom would sit there so straight doing this whole thing. He was so this virtual face that Dan sort of cast him because I think Dan thought you were him. Or, how does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wishes.
Okay, thank you. See, there you go. This is why we have this guy. But that is honestly my favorite scene, and I'm so glad that for the Academy Awards, I hope that many of you people saw that James Cameron was honored in this scene with Mr. Matthews here, and yes, it was a beautiful thing, and I'm so thankful. So I'm thankful for that. Clu?
I've already answered that one first.
The young lady who asked that, could I ask you a question? Are there any scenes that you think should have been kind of left on the cutting room floor?
No, I just wish there was more scenes with suicide.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That was,
great.
really
Suicide
nice to
Mark,
look at.
Mark Venturini. Suicide,
Oh.
the way that fly.
way of life.
Yeah, but Linnea was stark naked feeding his crotch. She said, what's the matter with you? He said. I thought that was wonderful. There were two actors. You know, the casting was impeccable. That damn director was so good in casting. It probably his best suit. Everybody was so talented, you know. There were two actors. They were method actors. You know, this guy, Linnea Quigley, and I studied the method. And so we were kind of three method actors in this great, ridiculous comedy. And I watched Linnea and Thom work, and they were so real, it hurt me. I said, I can't do that. So I just went on and said the lines and tried to be funny with, you know, with all of us.
You
But
didn't
it was
know what you didn't know. You were so shocked. You were hired the day before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you took me aside and you said, is this real?
They went through every young actor, well, aging young actor in town, and they all turned it down. Now, I don't know why they turned it down, because when I read the script, I wanted to turn it down, but I needed the money. I had 2 children, I had a wife, and I had a lawn to mow. So I figured that the best way to do it was do it. I started in, the director came in, Dan, who was dying, by the way, and I did not know it, but with a serious disease, and he didn't, to me, seem like he knew how, his homework, he didn't know how to do homework on the scenes, how wrong I was, huh? And he did he put together such a piece, it had everyone laughing all over the world, in Paris and Rome, everywhere, big posters, big signs. I just signed a huge poster they put in the subways in Paris. And it was a brilliant poster in French about our film. I was so impressed. And I asked the guy how much. He said, I'm not sure, I think it's about 150 bucks. But to certain collectors, it's worth it to spend a little money for, you know, what they idolize. And I agree with that. And so and I complimented the guy who sold the posters. I said, boy, you had some good posters. He said, thank you. But that's a hell of a question, by the way. I've never heard a question like that in my life that girl asked. That's really thought-provoking. I wish we could all give better answers, but maybe Allan can.
Not a bad question, Bert.
No, I always felt that the script was really tight. It was just great. It was a great screenplay, and so there really wasn't any dross there to cut out. But if everybody's sharing their favorite moments, I'll tell you what, the moment of the movie that really got to me and said, all right, now we're in a completely different place than anything I've ever seen before, was the scene with the yellow corpse running around. Because up until that point, it was, you know, it was a little creepy but funny and engaging. Everything was just really kind of entertaining. And then that scene with the yellow corpse, he's running around, and I'm going, what the hell is going on here?
I use the F word, but...
Yeah. And then it's like they get him with and it was the moment with the pick through the head into the ground. I'm like, oh my God, no. Where are we going? And I was like, hooked at that point.
It's the only scene where I'm like laughing and I can't watch it at the same time. And I've never felt that in another movie in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, God.
Well, now, what about your character? It wasn't chopped liver. Man, that scared the shit out of me when you came moving around with a body like you were rubber, which I guess you were trying to play, but that was pretty damn good. I thought that surpassed the Yellow Man. I thought, you know, personally.
I kind of knew that was coming. The Yellow Man took me by surprise. The yellow corpse.